back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all really well. Welcome to a new video. As you can see from the title of this video, I am sharing with you the top 15 boy names that are on our list. But I will say I have not put, so we've got about 3 we like, and I haven't put those on the list. I will probably share all 3 of them once this baby's born. Just to give you a bit of background, my name is Elisha, and I currently have a nearly 2.5-year-old, so he's 2 years 4 months, named Tommy, and I'm currently 21 weeks pregnant with baby boy number 2, hence why I'm not sharing the names. So yeah, I'll probably share them once he's born, the other ones that don't make it, and who knows, the 3 that we like may not even make it at all, so who knows. But I thought I would make, so I've made the top 15 girl names that we would have had on the list had this one been a girl. So I thought I would do the same and do my top 15 of boys, but as you can understand, I don't want to share any like name possibilities yet. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this video. If you are a new subscriber then, or a new viewer, then welcome, and if you are a returning subscriber or viewer, then welcome back. Before we get into this video, if I could just ask very kindly, if you haven't subscribed to this video already, please do so. It's just underneath this video. You literally click subscribe, and then a little bell will appear, and if you want to be notified of all my uploads, you just click the bell as well. It's totally free and takes only a few moments of your time, so thank you so much. And if you've never been on my channel before, at the moment obviously you can expect all things pregnancy, motherhood, toddlerhood, going, well obviously soon it'll be going to 2 kids, so you can obviously, I'll be doing lots of days in the lives, and we'll be doing, you know, hauls and beauty, and obviously coming up soon-ish I'll be doing like Tommy's big boy room, like vlog, and like changing different rooms in our house vlogs, because we're having a big shift around obviously, because we're going to move all the rooms around for baby boy number 2, and we'll obviously be getting, you know, vlogs of what I've purchased for my new baby, and you know, newborn essentials, or things I want to use or things I won't use, all things like that. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, please do consider subscribing. I'm really looking forward to creating all this content for you, so I hope you are excited too. But let's get into this video, because I've just waffled on about what's coming up rather than doing what I'm here to do today. So yeah, it's 15 boy names that I thought I would bring you. They're basically all different. I've got them listed just down here, so I can see them, but I don't think we would use many of these now. Now we know it's a boy, we've kind of filtered some off, and there are other reasons why we wouldn't use them, which I will get into. But yeah, first up, number 1 is Caleb. I think I got this from Pretty Little Liars. One of the characters is called Caleb, and I just really liked it, so I put it on the list. But it's just never sort of gone to the top, if you know what I mean. It's always just been on the list, but not like, ooh. So number 1 was Caleb. Do apologise, I'm so thirsty at the moment, so I'm gonna have to have a drink. Number 2 was Ollie. I've never really been keen on using Oliver, but I do really like the name Ollie. Again, it just never sort of went to the top, but it is quite nice. There is quite a lot of Ollies out there, I suppose. And then I would probably be annoyed if everyone's like, oh, is it short for Ollie, Oliver? And I'm like, no, it's just Ollie. I have a real thing, if you know me well, the whole point of like picking names. I don't like names that can be like changed. Like if someone calls Tommy Tom, like I'm ready to punch them in the face. It's not Thomas, it's not Tom, it's Tommy. When Tommy's older, if he wants to change it, you know, if he says, Mum, I want you to call me Tom from now on, absolutely fine. That's his choice, but it's not anyone else's choice what he's called. I called him Tommy, call him Tommy. So yeah, Ollie was number 2. Number 3 was Riley. I just think you don't hear of it very often, so it's quite a nice name. So it would be Elisha Hodgson. But again, it just never, it sounds nice, but it just never really made me or Adam like go, ooh, that's a really top contender. So yeah, I did like that one though. I think we had Riley on there for Tommy as well for quite a long time. But once Tommy was born, because obviously Tommy was born at 31 weeks and not 40 weeks, we thought we had much longer to discuss names. So we still had the massive list when Tommy was born, and we waited till all his tubes were taken off and we could actually see his face. Because for about 2 or 3 days we couldn't see his whole face because it was covered in wires and everything. And then we just got the list out and we're just taking them off. And yeah, pretty much came down to it that it was Tommy. But I will explain probably that story at the end of this video, so stay tuned. Next up at number 4 was Hugo. Again, if you've watched my girl name video, you will know Adam's not very keen on having H as a first name and then as a second name, because our surname's Hodgson. And he thought it sounded a little bit too posh, but I do quite like it, Hugo Hodgson. It's just quite nice. But yeah, it's on there, but it's not, he's never going to go for it. So yeah. And then next up, number 5? Again, like I said in my girl video, I may have like messed the numbers up a little bit. But on the screen somewhere I'll put the number with the name next to it, so we'll get there. So I really liked the name Rory, but my friend's husband is actually called Rory, so that was quite quick to come back on. I do really like it, but yeah, obviously I can't name my child after my friend's husband. But yeah, I really do like the name Rory, and her little boy is called Rowan, and I love the name Rowan, but obviously again can't use it, so that one didn't even make it on the list. It's very quick to fly by. And then number 6, is it 6? Let me check, I'm just going to check the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 6. I love the name Mason, but because with our surname, everything comes back to our surname, doesn't it? Surname is Hodgson. Having a first name with like son in it, it's just a mouthful, so it would be Mason Hodgson, and it's just quite a lot. But I do love the name Mason. Again, with our next one, I had Hudson, and that's just a whole thing in itself because it's a H and it's got son at the end, so Hudson Hodgson, it just doesn't work. But I do love the name Hudson. But yeah, it's just not going to make it. So, but it was on the list, so I thought I'd share it with you. Next up is Arlo. We did have Arlo on the list for Tommy. It was a real top contender. Quite up, well, obviously he was born so early, but it was up there. And Adam wasn't too sure about it, but like Adam's mum really liked it as well. But then when I had him, so in the maternity ward, so I was on my own in the maternity ward because Tommy was in neonatal, in the room that I'm put in, so bearing in mind there's only 4 of us, I think 2 or 3 of those babies, because remember I didn't have my baby with me, were called Arlo. And then when you go into neonatal, excuse me, there's a board, sorry, with like the names and the nurses and everything, and there were 3 Arlos in neonatal, so I just turned to Adam and I was like, it's got to go because it's too popular. And we do actually have a friend who had a baby after Tommy who called her little boy Arlo, so yeah, it's a lovely name and I wanted to share it with you. But yeah, I just thought it's way too popular, so we struck it off. Next up, I loved the name Max. Like growing up, I always thought, oh, Max would be a lovely name if I ever like had boys. But Adam's brother's actually called Max, so that quashed that one quite quickly. So yeah, but I just love it. I just think, even though it's quite common, I think it's just so simple and like effective as a name. I just really liked it. Yeah, I was when I met Adam and he's like, oh, this is my brother's names, and I was like, oh great, I love that name for a baby. So that one got struck off, but again I thought I'd share it with you. So yeah, I love the name Max. Devastated. Next up, I have the name Harley. This was on the list last time with Tommy, but one of my best friends, she has 2 dogs and one of them is called Harley, so I figured I probably couldn't name my child after her dog. So yeah, but I do like it. But again, Adam's not keen on the H, so it would have been Harley Hodgson, but I do quite like it. But yeah, that was a contender, and I do like it, but I just think it would be a little bit weird naming my future son after her dog, which is a beautiful dog. It's a sausage dog. He's delightful. She has 2 sausage dogs. She's literally living the dream right now. Next up I had Oscar, but if you follow me on Instagram, especially on my toddler Tommy page, which I actually need to change because it's not just going to be Tommy anymore, is it? I am really good friends with our little O, who is Oscar, so I probably wouldn't use Oscar now. So yeah, I think it's a lovely name. I just obviously wouldn't want to copy Charlotte in any way, but I do love the name Oscar, and Oscar Hodgson I think just sounded really lovely, but we probably won't be using it. Next up we had Leo. This could still be a contender, I'm not sure. I feel like it's got a bit popular. Everyone seems to be calling their baby Leo, so I've shared it with you because it's not one of the top 3 names we've got. So yeah, I do like Leo. Leo Hodgson sounds lovely, so that's on there. And then next up we have Arthur, which is my dad's massive suggestion, but I don't want to name my children after all of the Peaky Blinder characters, because I actually got the idea for Tommy from Peaky Blinders and Power. So yeah, technically my child's named after a drug dealer, or drug dealers, but we move, it's fine, he'll never know that. So I feel like, and also can't even talk, also I'm not exactly like the most prim and proper talker in the world, so I don't say it like how it should be, like Arthur. I'm like Arthur, so it just doesn't really work for me. It's a lovely name, but it just doesn't work for me, but I thought I'd include it. My dad suggested it. Next up we have Noah. Now Adam really wanted Noah for Tommy, and then literally he was born, like he'd shot out, and Adam was like, nah. Because I think whilst I was getting stitched up and high on gas and air, they were working on Tommy on like one of those resuscitator beds. Like he was fine, he wasn't being resuscitated, but they were just making sure he was okay to be moved before he went. and I was like, does he look like a Milo? Because I really wanted Milo last time. And I was like, no. And I was like, you're just saying that because he looks like a Noah. And he was just like, no, he doesn't. So Noah was on the list last time. Adam really wanted it. He now doesn't want it this time because it's the literally #1 name, most popular name when you Google boys' names. So he said he doesn't want it anymore. So I thought I'd include that. And then the last one, which would be number 15, is George. Now, I love the name George. I'm just not sure if it sounds a bit too like harsh as a first name. So it is actually a contender for a middle name at the moment. So I thought I'd share that with you, a little bit of an insight. We do have another middle name. So just to make this a bit fun and more interactive, if you've got any guesses on what the other middle name is, then please do put it in the comments down below. I'd love to see your guesses. But yeah, and maybe I'll get some more ideas actually from your guesses. But yeah, they are the 15 names that we have, well, that we had on the list. Like I said, I've kept 3 behind because they're like our 3 top contenders at the moment. So again, in the comments, if you want to have some guesses, please do pop them in the comments down below. I'd love to see what you think we're going for. I'll give you one clue to one of them. It is actually a Peaky Blinders character, which I think is Adam's favourite at the moment. It's not my favourite. One of the other ones is my favourite. But pop your guesses down below. I'd love to see what you think. And yeah, and then I said I'd tell you the story about Tommy. So yeah, as we know, I got the name idea from Peaky Blinders and Power. And I remember a week before he was born, I was out to lunch with my mum and one of my best friends, Lauren. We were in Pizza Express and she was like, oh, what are you thinking about names? And I said, I don't know. And I told her all the names and I said, but do you know what? I just think he's going to be a Tommy. I don't know why. Don't ask. There's just this real like feeling that he was going to be a Tommy. And then he was born a week later, unexpectedly. But he had all the tubes and wires on his face, so we couldn't see him like properly. Obviously I could see him, but he had like breathing bits on his nose, and yeah, you just couldn't see his whole face. And I said I don't want to name him without seeing his face. And I think in the midst of all of it, the wires had come off. I'd seen him on my own because Adam had been at home like changing stuff over for me and bringing stuff back and coming back to visit, etc. So I had like seen him and I was like, oh my god, like I want to call him Tommy Hunter Hodgson. But I didn't say anything to Adam because I didn't want him to be influenced by me. So I said, right, I think it was then the evening, so we went back onto the ward and we saw him, and then Adam was like, we were going through all the lists, so we were taking them off and I still wasn't saying anything. And yeah, we got down to Tommy, Hunter and Finn. And Adam was like, oh, I think he looks like a Finn. And I was like, oh, do you? And then he like kept looking. Obviously we had to look at him through the incubator. And all of a sudden he just looked at me and was like, he's a Tommy, isn't he? And I was just like, I think so. And he's like, what about Tommy Hunter Hodgson? And I was like, oh, thank God. Because yeah, in my head I was pretty set on that anyway. So when he said it without me telling him, I was like, yes. I'm not sure it's going to go that swift this time round, but hopefully it does. Like I keep saying to him, as much as it is both our decisions, you know, I do a lot more of the work, you know, growing them, losing my body, losing sleep, losing it, giving birth, being in labour, and just everything that comes after. We don't need to go into that, but if you've had a baby, you know what I'm on about. So, you know, I think 51-49% is a fair split. So, you know, the overriding 1% is mine. But we shall see. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna sign it off here because it's already 20 minutes long. But yeah, I'd love to see your guesses for first names and middle names, and like if you want to put like your guesses for both and like make up some names for me down below, then please do. I would love to see them. And yes, we will obviously be sharing his name when he's born. And I need to think about how I want to share it, but that's hopefully a while away because hopefully I'm going to go to full term. God, if I do anything this year, it needs to be that I go to full term. But yes, we will obviously share it with you once he's here and we've decided. But yeah, I would love it if you did enjoy this video. Please do consider subscribing. Like I said, it's just under this video, and thank you so much because I obviously want to grow this channel this year. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye guys.